Wagwan people, your boy Jude here. Welcome to my first official vlog, and today I'm going to take you on a trip to Riyadh to see Beterbiev Bivol 2. I used to hate Heathrow, but now Heathrow hates to see me coming, I swear down. The Elizabeth line it's changed the game, man. Man, shout out to the Lizzy line. All those times doing Johnny Quest to figure out the best route to Heathrow is over. Overground from Palace to Whitechapel, Whitechapel to Heathrow Terminal 4. I hardly slept because due to my recent travels, I know how jet lag sets up. So I thought, I get it now. Let me adapt and set myself up for the best opportunity not to be murked by time. 10 a.m. flight, 6 hours and a half in the air. I was prepared to sleep, but the aim was to offset 3 hours lost to skipping ahead. I like napping through the flight instructions, I'll be honest. As soon as I find that groove in that seat, I'm sleep. God forbid anything happens, I rebuke it. And I know people are going to say, oh, you need to know what's good if anything happens, but
Understand that, but it's above me now.
after my nap, I watched the Wild Robot on the Plane and Lupita, you are incredible, almost unrecognizable in her voice acting. I missed my plane food, so we got Albaik. This is a fast food chain founded by a Saudi Palestinian, Shakur Abu Ghazala, in 1974 in Jeddah, who made this Saudi's first roasted chicken restaurant. It's famed for its affordable price, amazing taste, but most honorably, its charitable causes. Since its inception, in every sale, 1 Riyal is donated to charity, and during Hajj season, 250,000 free meals are given out each day. Got to my hotel, the Radisson Blue Olaya, and realizing on the way there that there was like a greenlit decor on the buildings. The kingdom which framed the entrance of the hotel, Abdul Rahman, explained that this was due to the Saudi founding day, which I spent the Sunday finding out more about. The hotel was amazing, got some Saudi coffee upon entrance, lovely staff, a tidy room, and a nice gym for me to get a workout in. I was chasing my Apple Ring, which long jumped 3 hours ahead. Closed my rings in spirit that day. I ended up missing dinner because of gym, which is a shame, but yeah, man, I needed this. I needed this, especially considering the amount I was going to eat later. Got back to the hotel, took a few more shots, and then I just thought, let me just put on a fit for the night. Man, look at me, clean. And this is a cafe outside the hotel. Ended up getting an Uber share to a strip where there was another Albaik. And man, when I know something's charitable, I'll always spend my money there. So big up Al Sheikh. This is a kebab place that I'd love to try next time. I don't read Arabic, so I don't know what it is. That wasn't my order, by the way. I'm not that greedy. But this is just a spread of the items that are on sale at Albaik. And I actually want to try everything now that I know the incentives behind it. I saw some One Piece inspired shops, preed a short plaza, and then rolled back home to get enough sleep for the hotel breakfast. And this is not Travelodge or Premier Inn, no shade, but this is Riyadh and food is always in season. Just look. Riyadh is generally a very holy inclined city, but my gluttony was not of God, I swear down. I needed to work some of that off. Did a little cardio and strength training and yoga after this meal, and man, there was options for everything, so I let my greed get the better of me. There was eggs, vegetable, noodles, mushrooms, more eggs, hash browns, beef bacon, and man, I'm embarrassed by this plate. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. I feel like when in Riyadh, do as Riyadhians do. That's probably not a word, but there you go. So ended up going back to the gym. I didn't get time to use a steam room or sauna, just a light cardio session. I tried to do the aesthetic vlog gimmick, and the yoga mat just said allow it. So ended up heading back to my room, recorded a bit more of it, like now in the daylight, and it was time for my second fit. Sea green traditional top woven in Ghana. Is this woven? Is that the right word? Check it out. I don't know, fashionistas, let me know. But yeah, here's the fit. Really loved it. The architecture in Riyadh puts most places I've been to shame. It's intensified beauty, and while there are many new builds, it doesn't have that overwhelming feel where architectural styles clash and override the symbolic theme of the designs. It reminds me of the best parts of London or a Barcelona, and in some spaces like a Venice. I've never pronounced Venice like that. I don't know why. I'm sorry, guys. But Abdurrahman took me to a beautiful Saudi restaurant, the Najd Village. Having visited Riyadh and the Red Sea before, I'd like to think I'm familiar with Saudi cuisine. It's so rich, expansive, and accounting of so many areas. It's definitely the most expensive cuisine I have ever had. The restaurant Najd Village pays homage to the old ways of the Najd Highlands, which is located in Riyadh. Their cuisine consists mostly of wheat, dates, and dairy products. The style of the restaurant is very old fashioned in an Arabic sense. It was beautiful, honestly. And we watched the Everton Manchester United game on my spare phone, and we got a Safra for two. When I'm back, I'll do a proper food tour. But yeah, coming up next is gonna be our plates. And yeah, man, it was just fascinating. And I absolutely loved this place. It felt like I stepped into a time zone. So I tried to get as much content as I could. And what is beautiful about this is, yeah, man, like they allowed me to do my thing. I asked because in Saudi you do have to like ask before you like record certain spaces. Like for instance, you can't record governmental buildings without permission, or not at all even. But I made sure to ask everybody, like I was pointing a camera like over. I don't normally try to get people in my shots, but yeah, man, I wanted to be cool. There's Abdul Rahman. He made the order of Safra for two, and then when it came, every single thing was hitting. And Jay said, "Welcome, welcome, Jude." I was overwhelmed. Next, Abdul Rahman took me to Black Stamp Roastery and Cafe. When we pulled up, we actually saw his brother and his cousins just chilling outside. They were so cool and welcoming. They wrote my name in Arabic on a paper for my order. I got a latte. Then, as I was recording content, I got invited to see the roastery device. As a roastery, they import, roast, and prepare coffee beans in bulk, often selling them on and using them for their own products. The latte was rich. I didn't need to add anything. And funnily enough, they all said they usually have their coffee cold, but I'm a London lad. I would drink a hot coffee in 30-degree weather, calm. But yeah, like I was taken to the back, and this rosatory device actually cost 500 Saudi Riyal racks, yeah, which is equivalent to like £105,000 in England. But yeah, that's such an investment. They produce their own stuff, and they outsource like the beans and stuff that they can produce in house. Like pretty nifty gear. I haven't said nifty, but yeah, I was fascinated. I love learning about these kind of things. I've seen some rosatories before, but I've never been invited back. And that just kind of speaks to the Saudi hospitality. Like everyone's so nice, inviting and welcoming, and yeah, there's no bad vibes. Then we were on to fight night, the last crescendo, the greatest boxing card I've ever seen on paper, and was due to attend. But what makes a great boxing card is actually the levels of the fights on the night. For Abdurrahman, he had never attended a boxing match before, and he wasn't a big fan like that. An appreciator of the greatest, though, in Muhammad Ali, like we all are. When I arrived, I got to witness the beautiful creation that is the Kingdom Arena. It was fascinating. The build-up of the show felt very British. Do you get what I mean? Like, British people just have like an aura, like, yeah, if you will, like the way we walk, dress, and attend things in like little droves building up to the event space. It's proper jokes. Like, yeah, I'd say about 85 to 90% of the attendees were British, were absolutely all in the fascination of the event space and just in awe of boxing. It felt like an away day for boxing purists. Like, nobody minded there was no buzz to be had in terms of like alcohol or any other substances. the prospect of the fights were enticing enough. When we arrived, we were instantly fascinated by curation of the space, dangling or raised ballooned Everlast gloves, Beterbiev and Bivol's names glaring in lights, and Saudi raised food and non-alcoholic drink stands. They also had a VIP area, and we had access to which was like serving hors d'oeuvres and a spread of like free gaming stations that hosted Undisputed. That's like the latest boxing game. These are like a spread of the hors d'oeuvres. Like Turkey was actually bopping about like in and out of the arena in between like the fights, and he was actually watching every single one, like even the pre-main card fights, whilst like thousands of people were chilling in the created space. Like that man loves boxing, and that's why I have no qualms in his investment in it. Like the beauty of the card was how immense these fights were, and the night started with my second favorite fight of the night, Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. Before we even start that, this is some art from Christoph Pasiorek. And yeah, it's so funny because he was there with his books guarding the arts, and I thought this was a bodyguard. I was like, bruv, like, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be on the card? Like, this guy was massive. Like, he could have told me he just rolled from a mission with James Bond. I would have believed him. And that's a shot from one of the entrances. We had a VIP ticket, or tickets rather, and block A1 was our section. Really good seats. And yeah, there's Ade Oladipo with Sean Porter, and my brain has gone hazy, so I forgot the other presenter. I still haven't even watched it back in terms of the main, like the zone highlights. So that is going to be interesting to do one day. And there's Lawrence Okoli, Moses Atoma. I think Moses is going to be a future champ, like world heavyweight champion. Like, give him a couple years. There's Turkey popping about. And yeah, that was after one of the Saudi fighters who led up to this fight, Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. Like, this was an absolute battle. Like, Callum Smith was terrific as much as Buatsi was endurant. Like, they were constantly fighting, and Buatsi was just essentially holding on in a way. Like, I always felt like Smith was that much further ahead in the fight. He was just that much more accurate, and yeah, it really started to show, man. But Buatsi battled back from a very overwhelming space. Like, massive respect to him. I've watched him for the entirety of his career, it seems like, and yeah, Smith ended up winning, but Buatsi put in an incredible display. This was an absolute war, and the like semi-final, even finalist level. So yeah, weird comparison, but that's honestly how I felt in the night. And yeah, at this point I was stuck between trying to capture content and having my eyes glued on the fights. And up next was Caballero versus Zhang. And Caballero is a proper European boxer, like in a sense of being tactically astute, and he was working away at Zhang's body, man. Like, it was a battle of heavyweights, and everybody knew there was gonna be a knockout. But I don't know, I didn't entirely expect it to go that way. Like, Zhang actually caught Caballero early. Well, not early, like in the later rounds. This only went 6, so comparatively in those later rounds, he caught him with a left, a quick combination, ended up putting him down. But if you could see here, like, Caballero is even just gradually working. This kind of last clip in here without any words, so you can see what I mean. Now, I've never seen Zhang hurt like that before. Like, yeah, you could tell he was firm in it and breathing kind of heavy, like winded from the amount in pressure of Caballero. And yeah, this ended up step through. But yeah, like, this was a big night, and still the embers of the full flame later to come. Up next was Ortiz Jr. and Madrimov, and this is actually the first walkouts that I caught because I kept darting in and out of the arena to get a breather or grab some hors d'oeuvres, and this fight was electric. A dissecting, power punching Ortiz Jr. marching down a very elusive amateur fighting king in Madrimov. Like, yeah, in the end, Ortiz like overwhelmed him with his relentless stalking. Like, I think loads of people expected a knockout, but again, like, styles make fights. I don't know why I said again. I don't think I even mentioned that, but styles definitely do make fights, and it was either Madrimov was going to be an escape artist and outbox him, or Ortiz was going to end up marching him down and for about 2 or 3 more rounds, but we're not in the 15 round days. Up next was Hamza Shiraz's world title challenge against hold-up Carlos Adames, and this didn't go without controversy, and I feel like in boxing, what is boxing without a tinge of controversy? Like, it's a subjective sport at the end of the day. I was sitting there scoring my own kind of things in my head, and yeah, it was no secret for the crowd that we all wanted Hamza to win. Like, he essentially is somewhat an ambassador for this Riyadh season when it comes to some of these fights, like young up and coming, and yeah, everybody wants him to do well. He's from Ilford, you know. Adames is a relatively unknown champion in these parts, but Adames truly won this fight. He nullified everything Hamza tried to build up. If who watched know that he lost that fight, and yeah, he was lucky, man. Like, Adames was in great spirits despite a very harsh draw decision, but the draw indicates that these guys are going to have a rematch. And yeah, it felt like the whole stadium was against Adames until he showed his grit as a champion. And this is what I love about boxing. Like, an unknown name becomes a name overnight. And now Adames is in my consciousness, and I would love to see the second fight. You know? If you know, you know, by the way. This was one of the best songs on Fight Night. Knockout artist. Here's a draw decision. Very unfortunate, but yeah, as you can see, Hamza was he looked quite dispirited, and Adames, yeah, was soaking it up. He knew, like, yeah, he done a job. Next was one of the 2 fights in which a fighter fell ill and a replacement had to step in. In steps Yorkshireman and electrician Josh Padley, stepping up to fight a world-class Shakur Stevenson. Just several days prior, Padley was working his day job until this call-up where Floyd scolded a precise beating from Shakur, who has been critiqued for his lack of power. And yeah, in the 9th, Padley's corner threw in the towel after like a 3rd or 4th down. Don't entirely remember. I haven't watched it back, but I know what I saw. Like, I saw a tough man that was not prepared or trained for this. He just stepped up because he could and he needed to, you know, not only for the sake of his own that boxing career, but the opportunity, man, a world title fight. And as he said in his interview with IFL TV, his life has changed now. £375,000. Like, he said he doesn't have to go back to work for a while, and fortunately, a job as an electrician, that's a really good job, you know. He can go back to work whenever, even after retirement, but for now, he wants to concentrate on embellishing a boxing career. And he just signed with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, so that'll be interesting to see much more of him to come. Maybe he could have lasted the full fight if he just had like full prep time, like Batman. Same AJ's fights. So yeah, there's Josh Padley, man. He was soaking it in. I was very proud of him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people watch AJ's fights. There's AJ getting ready to speak on DAZN. AJ fought Daniel Dubois next. Oh yeah, I saw my cousin's cousin in the audience, which was amazing. I haven't seen him in years, and it was so sick to see him. So went up there to just say hello, catch up, and I got to record the entrances of Martin Bakole, who replaced Daniel Dubois. And what I was trying to say is, yeah, Daniel Dubois dropped out because of some flu-like illness. He couldn't fight on the day, and in steps Martin Bakole. And it wasn't like Josh Padley stepping in. Josh Padley probably walks around at a similar weight to what he fights. He didn't have to do much preparation. In heavyweight, a lot of fighters tried to stay ready, but one critique of Bakole is this guy balloons like before and after fights. And heavyweights, you don't have to catch some type of weight if you're that big. And he came in at 315 pounds. Joshua Parker was ready and raring to go. He was mentally prepared for anybody. And yeah, the only thing that was exciting about the potential of this fight was like the puncher's chance that Bakole has. Like if he hits you with any type of punch, that could spell, yeah, a bad few minutes afterwards. Like he can knock out, I'd say, almost anybody in this sport. But it's about catching people, and it's about being prepared to do so. And even in a post Riyadh season day interview with AJ was like, yeah, like someone like Bakole, he wanted to step in. He felt prepared and he felt right to do so. And so, yeah, man, he took the fight. But on 2 days' notice, flying from Congo, not being able to sleep properly on a plane, not resting properly, not being trained, like everything was against him. That I respect him for stepping up and essentially saving the card, because if Parker didn't fight, like, yeah, that idea of this being like one of the greatest nights in boxing to Bakole, but it wasn't the best decision for his career. Like it dims some of the shine on his career. And yeah, they ended up throwing in the towel because the knockdown, even though it was a slight right punch from Parker, you could see Bakole's equilibrium. Bakole did this. There's loads of money involved in all of this, man. So yeah, man, he was happy to take that fight. But yeah, I feel bad for him because he's essentially a bit of a boogeyman in the sport. Loads of people have been avoiding him. But I should say this guy needs to pattern up when it comes to his conditioning. Like he could have been like 70, 80 pounds less than that, and then he would have just been that much more appropriate for the fight. Nippier, faster, and I think he retains that strength. So why not just walk around at around 230, 240 at most and be able to lose that weight? But yeah, there's Ade talking to Turkey, and yeah, just being fascinated with the night thus far. And up next was the main event, Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. Honestly, I don't even have much to say here. It was just fascinating, like from start to finish. Each second anxiety inducing, and a display of boxing's magnificence, like boxing at its best. I personally knew Bivol was going to win from round 2. I should have thrown a bank at it. He had already adapted enough to Beterbiev's imposing style. It was about consistency and whether he could keep up with this, like this effort to keep away from an absolute monster in Beterbiev and his, yeah, that imposing stalking style. Like he literally just bludgeons people to a knockout. And funnily enough, like Beterbiev has knocked out every single opponent thus far, aside from the both times he's fought Bivol. And one was a unanimous, well, not unanimous, it was a split decision win, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But this time he ended up losing, and Bivol had that much more to learn from the first fight, and he executed it brilliantly. But yeah, he outclassed him by a few more rounds, which was enough for the decision win. Anyway, thanks for tuning into my first vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I shall see you in the next one, and I'm just going to leave you with the sounds of boxing and celebrations and the joy that everybody had for Bivol in this win. So yeah, thanks, and like, subscribe, share, all of that. Take care.
Fitzgerald scores the contest 116 to 112. Dion Duarte has it 115, 113. for the winner by majority